Okay. It is Wednesday, June 2. It is sunny skies, golden skies out. It is 475 degrees. No, seriously, it's fucking hot.
We're melting.
It's really fucking hot. It's in the 80s at least, which it's humid over here. But I mean, we're doing fucking Dune.
Funny part is I'm currently living in Tennessee, and it's actually quite cool here.
Wait, did you say Dune? I thought we were doing Doom, like the early 2000s, like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Carl Urban video game movie.
Wow, no, we're doing.
Oh, no. The 1984 David Lynch.
What's that? These notes are fucking useless.
In the 1984.
What the fuck's Dune?
I don't know. I've watched it and I still can't comprehend the movie, and that's why you guys are here to explain it to me. Or maybe Billy.
I've read the book and I still don't know what happened in the movie. I know the story. I know what they were trying to do. I mean, depends on who you define as they. I know what the studio was trying to do. David Lynch was trying to make a David Lynch film, and everybody else hated that idea.
Yeah, he sold out once and he'll never do it again.
You see him today. He is like, Dune was the most disappointing thing for me because I didn't have the final directive say. I'm glad you like it, but it was just, he's just basically like, Dune's a bunch of crap. It's an enjoyable film.
It's enjoyable, honestly.
There's
if you haven't seen David Lynch's Dune yet, I would say see it before you watch the new one that hasn't come out yet as of this recording. I'd say watch it. I'm not telling you to like it. I'm telling you to watch it.
Okay, well, I was going to say the movie is just enough to give you like a little taste of Dune and introduce you to the universe, but all it really does is make you want more.
It's the first book in a series of like a lot of fucking books. So it's like if they chose like some weird indie director to do fucking Sorcerer's Stone.
Not Chris Columbus.
Man, raped and pillaged countless indigenous people, and then he directed a Harry Potter film.
Home Alone is
not sure which was worse.
Yeah, I'm just really fucking glad I have a beverage.
Yeah. What kind of refreshments you got around here?
Heineken, obviously.
Heineken? Fuck that shit! Pabst Blue Ribbon!
Heineken? Fuck that shit! Pabst Blue Ribbon!
Oh, fuck! Oh, shit!
What did you think would happen?
Oh, this is going in. It's
Why
raining.
am I the one who's unsurprised here?
Woo! It's raining on Arrakis!
You guys not know how carbonation works?
Oh
No
no!
part of that was surprising.
Come over here.
Oh yeah, no, let me.
Yeah. So it doesn't drip everywhere.
I got it. That's still frothing.
I'm drinking Troptimistic, not a sponsor. I almost want to interview you now. Like, what was going through your head when you opened that? Was that a surprising experience for you?
Do not become addicted to water.
You will resent its absence.
Well, we're back.
And we're back.
And it's still fucking hot.
But now I have beer on me, so I'm nice and cool.
Pabst Blue Ribbon saved the day, folks.
Yeah, no, that was the end. The blue pillars come down from the sky, and Pabst starts raining down, and everyone's like, "Ah!" And it's like, "Ah!" It's rock opera shit. Fucking. The score in some places is baffling, but you know what? I dig it.
Yeah.
It's enough to make you want to go out and buy a Toto vinyl.
Oh my goodness. Well,
I bless those rains.
oh my god. Well, One thing I want to say about this movie is that it's almost completely incoherent. It feels like pieces of something and not a whole something. And it's just a lot of scenes of exposition and just lists, just endless lists. Like, these are the planets, these are the characters,
Edited by the guys who did Lady Terminator and Suicide Squad.
Yeah. You draw a diamond on your forehead, Billy?
Yeah, I was drawing a diamond on my forehead. It's two movies. It just is. It's David Lynch's film mixed with
A big dumb
attempt
action
at making Dune. David Lynch clearly didn't want to make a Dune adaptation.
Right.
And the studio wanted to make just a straightforward Dune adaptation. Like, it feels like the studio was going for what sci-fi achieved in the mid-2000s when they had their little mini-series. But David Lynch didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
Which, like, I like David Lynch. The best parts of the movie are very Lynchian, but they have fuck all to do with Dune.
Yeah, a lot of there's some parts. It's all over the place too. Even in just like where there's certain parts where you can see his creative influence, I guess, bled through a little more, because you have some scenes that look like something straight out of Twin Peaks. And then you have other scenes that are just like cut sci-fi garbage that looks hackneyed thrown together.
Yeah. Like, you'll have these beautiful, grand, like, cityscape shots, like feels like Blade Runner or something, you know, pushing through these trenches and all these sets and models. And then it'll hard cut to the flight navigator.
The flight navigator, and it was super enclosed. It was like a bad Photoshop in the foreground of the screen.
Yeah.
With a filter on him.
This movie is one of those great examples of being really good at a single element and it not really being able to save the film, because set design, amazing. The costume design, amazing. Even the actors are pretty fucking good for the most part.
Yeah, they're all pretty good.
Just,
it's a great cast.
Is it editing? Is that the main foible of this?
It's the script as well. Because
the script is pretty clunky.
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, like, the set design is one of my favorite things about this movie. It's the one thing that's like consistently good.
Yeah. All the sets are fucking cool.
Yeah, and it really brings the world to life and makes it feel real, especially among a lot of like the bad green screen and CG and layering and hard edges and obvious feathering.
I mean, yeah.
If you ever want to make an argument about practical design or practical effects being preferable to computer generated effects, this is the movie to show somebody to prove that point.
And I think
the practical effects are fucking phenomenal, and every time they like go into post to make an effect, it looks fucking hilarious.
Well, there's the scene with the whose hand is it? Is it Leto's hand is like boiling?
Oh yeah.
And then
that's a good one.
Flame effect with the opacity lower that's layered over it, which is a very Lynchian thing, but it works.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I will also say for the film, I'm kind of jumping around here, but they nail the creepy kid factor to a fucking T.
Oh yeah,
child.
Yes.
Yeah.
That child is possibly the most terrifying thing about the film.
And how can this be?
And not a bad actor.
No.
Like,
what they do is they make the cadence of what she says like intentionally off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like it's just kind of like, I don't know if you guys played Half-Life or whatever. There's the G-Man who talks. He talks very interesting. It's like, you have been sleeping on the job. His cadence is off. Like and there's no. It's like he's an alien in human skin or something like that. I mean, it just there's something off about the little girl. Yeah, she's just some power vessel. She's like almost not a little girl. She's like something bigger.
Right. Yeah. Like, she's almost this like god level of character, but I don't fully understand that. Like, how she defeats the Baron in the end.
I don't either.
Oh, okay. So it kind of does show it, because she has that little finger thing that's used for killing animals that Paul is threatened with during the not the box scene.
Yeah. The box when it's out throws head.
And so like she uses that to kill Baron Harkonnen. And then she rips out like his pumps that supply him with
which are like the heart plugs, but he's got
It just happens to very conveniently spin into the worm's mouth. Which I mean I clapped.
How much funnier would it be though if she pulls out the pumps and he just like a balloon?
Yeah, like Aunt Marge in the
Very
Prisoner of
close to what happened.
Exactly like Aunt Marge, actually.
I want to. Yeah. Holy shit.
Yeah. So there's one thing I want to go into. So before this movie, before 1984, the 70s, there was going to be an adaptation, the first adaptation, Frank Herbert's Dune, by Alejandro Jodorowsky, which there's a whole documentary on it. It came out in like 2013. Really interesting stuff. Would highly recommend. So H.R. Geiger and Salvador Dali did we're going to do the concept art and like all the production design for the film. And then Pink Floyd was going to do the musical score. Yeah, like this would have been fucking incredible in the 70s, right? Yeah.
The drum line's just going
How
like,
we got echoes.
But tell me that wouldn't have been fucking amazing. We mentioned Geiger a lot watching this. Geiger, HR Tigers.
yeah, I'll do play run while they're all going up onto the worm.
I don't know how long it was going to be.
I don't know.
Yeah. Because runtime is absolutely a factor when it comes to a Dune adaptation.
Yeah.
Because 2 hours, 17 minutes, that's what this one is. I couldn't track it. I was trying.
Yeah. I mean, part of that is hard to sift Dune already out through our bullshit while we were rewatching it. But,
That's fair. Yeah.
But I was probably a teenager when I saw it last, and I didn't make any sense of it at all. And so I really wanted to try and make sense of it this time, and it's David Lynch. It's just fucking incomprehensible. and the studio clearly in post, and do you guys agree with me here, right? Where all that just really clunky exposition dumping was the studio in post being like, David, you gotta fucking explain this.
Exactly.
Okay?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
It's all in the. You should just see the lasers come out of the vagina mouth and know what's happening. Or if you don't know what's happening, it's okay. Fuck you.
Yeah. Go read the book or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. This is an okay segue, somewhat. As I was thinking about the plot of the movie and how clunky it is, how poorly it kind of moves along. And
It's really badly paced.
We're kind of trying to predict that where the break is going to be for the new Villeneuve film that's coming out this October. And strangely enough, we found that like the based on what I've heard from like screeners, people who've seen pre-screenings of the movie, is that like it's either going to end with the fight with one of the Furman guys, I can't remember his name, between Paul and him, or the scene where Lady Jessica drinks the water of life. And just watching the Lynch film, that feels like a pretty safe place to wrap it up, because the Baron sends Raban on this mission. Kind of, it's a nice cliffhanger that leads into the next.
Yes, and the reason why the David Lynch film, why that scene takes place so far into the movie, is because they blaze past the second half of the book.
That last
They
45
just
minutes.
rush through it
they do.
in an insane way. Like 2 years happens. That happens in the book, and they describe it away with one line of dialogue.
Yeah, the whole line of
They do.
exposition. I mean, it's a voiceover. It's like 2 years passed,
2
and
years
Paul
passed.
is now whatever with the weirding way, and he's addicted to heroin. I mean, spice, and
Kwisatz Haderach. It's not that hard to say, goddamn.
he's its cataracts.
Jesus. Yeah.
That.
You're gonna have to run that by me about 10 times more, Billy. What was that?
Kwisatz Haderach. Kwisatz Haderach. Kwisatz Haderach. Kwisatz Haderach.
Well, in the movie, it's
Kwisatz Haderach. Kwisatz Haderach. Fuck.
Cheez-Its. Cheez-Its. I don't want Cheez-Its.
I ate
I
a
don't
fuck
want
ton of
cataracts.
Cheez-Its last night.
Okay, are we gonna address the shrooms in the room at any point?
Yeah.
You mean your bobble cock?
What is that little?
It's a bottle cock now.
Sponsor us, Bobblecock.
Sponsored by Bobblecock. Yusuf Third, sponsored by Bobblecock.
I don't actually remember. I know the little toy has a name. I don't remember.
Oswald Bobblecock.
God, what does Danny DeVito's dick look like? It's trifurcated.
And scene.
And DeVito and Tevye.
This entire time, there was no model work done of the sandworms on Arrakis. The entire time, it was just Danny DeVito's dick being pushed through sand.
There's a lot of inverse proportionality. The smaller the man, the bigger the dick.
I mean, look at Ron Jeremy.
Arrakis.
Okay, that's pretty good.
What's happening?
Don't sue us.
Okay, but on a side note, I just thought, remember we were talking about set design? Was it on Kaladin when you had the really cool, like, ornate woodwork that was like,
Yeah.
super.
Well, the architecture was all over
Detailed.
the place, depending on where they were. It was like whichever group, their
Right.
architecture is totally different. We had like
Specifically the woodwork, though, I think was the Atreides.
The woodwork itself made me think that they shot that somewhere that already existed. Because, as I said, it looked like the basement or the bathroom area for the 4th Avenue Theater in Seattle. Like, it looked like a place that exists, like a hotel or a theater.
kind of, but I feel like it's some parts of it were too almost fantasy looking. Like, I mean, they had that whole mechanism with the training bot or whatever, the training pylon or whatever.
And obviously, the
That-
Geiger stuff is made for the movie. You're not going to
Yeah.
find that somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, because the Harkonnens was mostly the green architecture that looked like green screen, and then
Yeah.
the HR Tire company stuff.
I feel like
Yeah.
I feel like George Lucas just kind of rented them like the back of the prequel sets of the back rooms and stuff to film the Harkonian.
This was
Parts.
before then. But yeah.
I know this was before that, but the prequels transcend time.
It's like poetry.
It's like poetry that was made by a guy couldn't see, hear, or write.
Have you guys seen the movie
Poetry.
Phantasm?
It usually sucks.
Have you guys seen the movie Phantasm?
I've seen
So-
Batman Mask of the Phantasm.
That's good. The Phantasm is an 80s horror flick that directly rips off Dune. There's the what's in the box scene, like verbatim happens with the main kid in Phantasm, and it's really weird and out of place.
Hey, but what's in it? Hey, this thing really hurts.
Don't fear, Michael. It was simply reflection. Fear is the killer. That's what grandmother wants you to learn.
And I do think that there's like a diner or some shop in the background where it says Dune or it says like some homage to Frank Herbert. It's just really on the nose and weird. Like it's completely out of place.
The YouTube gross box, the celebrity gross box that they did like for the start, where they stuck John Boyega or Daisy Ridley's hand in the box, and it's like either there's a spider or something nice in here.
Yeah.
That's
Gwyneth
what that box
Paltrow's
scene
head.
reminded me of.
Yeah,
Yeah, Gwyneth Paltrow's
Box full of goop.
What's in the fucking box?
I didn't know
Just it's just Danny DeVito's tongue lightly licking your follicles.
Man. We're please, Danny DeVito, please don't. I love your work. Please don't watch this video.
Oh my God, Danny DeVito, I love your work.
I knew that was coming.
Hey, get out of here!
Oh my God, Danny DeVito, I love your work.
So, as somebody who's read the book, do we have any questions, Will?
Yeah, a lot. So first of all, spice is the worm, right? Is it just powdered worm? In the movie, they were like, the spice is the worm.
Tackle shop.
You know? Get a little slice off, cut it up with your credit card. Just,
And our eyes turn blue.
then your eyes turn blue, yeah.
No,
No, okay.
it's a byproduct of the worm. The worm is unmaimed, unharmed in the production of the spice. It's like okay, so picture a slug, right?
It's not, it's shit.
Oh,
Isn't that a common
it's a
misconception?
byproduct from the worm.
Yes, yes.
I've heard that it's the worm shit. But is that not
No,
true?
no, it's more of a secretion, more
Secretion. Okay, yeah.
Comes
No,
out
like
of
pugs.
its, does it come out of its folds, like that little fold that I really like that shot
Yes.
where he
Actually.
jams the fucking thing into
A fork and it goes.
the fork
Yeah,
and
the
it pulls
scales.
And then it goes.
so it pops out from between those.
If I remember correctly, yes.
That's kind of what I would assume. It like flakes off while they're going.
Yeah.
Fucking
And spice is called melange a lot in the books.
mélange à trois.
It's funny you say that. I don't think this book got into Paul having 2 wives, did it? Or the movie?
Mélange à trois.
No, Paul has 2 wives. One's the political wife, one's the one he falls in love with. I think the movie
So what is Jessica to Paul?
His mom.
His mom.
his mom.
Letos,
Yes.
She looked okay. The
Mistress-
age difference of the actors
I think
didn't
she's-
seem enough.
She has a role, but she's like Duke Leto's like mistress, which sounds worse than it is. But isn't she like you?
Concubine is the word that's used in both the movie and the book.
What is it?
Concubine.
Concubine. Yeah, mistress.
Oh,
Yep,
so
yeah, so
But concubine implies
Plain
different
fitting.
things about like the feudal system they live in, and is importantly different than a mistress in that
Oh.
like a king or a duke's concubine, historically speaking, would have more power politically.
oh, it has power. Really? Okay.
yeah, so she's an important.
Important. For some reason, I thought concubine meant like sex slave.
That's what I thought it was similar to mistress. So
Kind of, yeah. I mean, concubine wouldn't be able to leave the arrangement, wouldn't really have any personal agency beyond that, but still could be politically powerful in sort of an advisorship role. People have to treat a king's concubine with a lot of respect, a lot more respect than you'd show to
The
yourself.
king's fucking her, so she's better than you.
Yes.
Just get that king.
Unfortunately, yeah, that's basically it.
The royal rod.
Which brings me into I'm gonna backslide into the book a little bit. Stop
Oh,
me if it's banal.
I need to know more.
But-
because I don't know what's going on.
In the Dune universe, it takes place thousands and thousands of years later, so far into the future that they don't even know where humans came from. I think I might be thinking of Foundation, but there is an offhand line in one of the books that says,
Sorry.
"Oh, we came from the 3rd planet in the Terran system." Ha ha ha! You dumb bitch. Anyways, but like it's so far into the future, and yet they utilize the feudal system that like Europe mainly had for like 300 years during what are now called the Middle Ages, which is a weird choice. Like to quote Mimi Mondell, "In a world where all fundamental laws can be rewritten, it is illuminating which ones of them aren't." So it's weird to set something that far in the future and keep a feudal system. It kind of goes to what he was trying to talk about, which is power and colonialism.
Oh yeah, and maybe the feudal system. Maybe it's like what it's a cyclical nature of society where it's we went after everything came and went. We went back to feudalism. You know,
It's essentially the same point.
What's the fucking absurd year that they're in at this point? It's 10,000 something like.
It's something ridiculous. So, at the point where it's set so ridiculously far into the future that there's nothing really that holds over from current societies, and the spice might as well be magic. Dune is essentially a fantasy novel.
Well,
they just have space lizards.
Haven't I've seen a lot of people when they try to genreify it or whatever, they say science fantasy.
Yeah,
Where it pretty much is what it is. It's like fucking
but like the most scientific part of it, the spice itself, I would argue, the reason why it's so like that is that it's based on shrooms, the drug, which Frank Herbert was not only a huge fan of shrooms, he wrote about them extensively. He also invented something called the spore slurry, which is something that mycologists and mushroom farmers use to this day. Not for the drug even, just like portobello mushrooms are often made using a spore slurry that Frank Herbert invented, which is hilarious because dude was a shroom head.
yeah.
Interesting.
Like, dude swam across the fucking Narrows at the age of 13, invented the spore slurry, and he just kind of shat out Dune books. It was weird. It's weird to have grown up in the same place as that.
I mean, the general all of this makes a lot more sense now, knowing shrooms when he wrote all of this shit, because it doesn't make any sense to anyone who's not on shrooms. So
Okay, the book's a little more straightforward than the David Lynch.
okay, well,
David Lynch was on shrooms.
David Lynch came and doing whatever fucking thing David Lynch does.
You think he does psychedelics, or you think he's just that way?
He's a weird.
He hires a lot of little people to not be on drugs.
Yeah, you're right.
Lots of blondes and puts them in pink for some reason. Like,
Oh yeah, and
That
like
about,
just
man.
rampant homophobia.
Maybe it's just the weed. Maybe he's just having some good jazz cigarettes from Nicolas Cage, the old Nixter.
I know. I feel like if he was just high on weed the whole time, he'd be less homophobic. So like, I just read a pretty good article from 3 a.m. By James Rushing Daniel, which is about how David Lynch, you know, he has a specific brand of weird that he goes for in a lot of things that are not normal, things that push the boundaries. And like when he started Twin Peaks and started his shit in the 80s, having a homosexuality be portrayed as part of that out of the brand normal didn't seem all that problematic, except in hindsight now. But he's still making stuff, and there's still tinges of that, like the new Twin Peaks as like a trans woman who's played by like a cis guy and only really there as backdrop. And there's certain stuff like that. Baron Harkonnen is the main thing in this that gets iffy. In the books, Baron Harkonnen is very explicitly a pedophile. He fucks young boys a lot. And like every time Frank Herbert introduces the character, I guess it's worth saying the book was written in the 60s. Every time he introduces Harkonnen, he's like, here is Harkonnen, the floating fat guy who fucks young boys.
Your disease is lovingly cared for all eternity.
I mean, it's the only like queer character in all of Dune, which seems like, okay, it was written in the 60s, what do you expect? But like a large portion of the Dune books are about a guy who becomes half worm.
Yeah.
So, like saying that, what do you expect of the gays? It's a little reductionist.
Yeah.
David Lynch kind of invented the whole boils all over his skin thing for Harkonnen.
Which I've seen in a lot of AIDS caricatures.
Precisely.
Or specifically where you see, like, if you look at those repugnant A. Wyatt Man comics or some of this stuff like that, where all the gays all have boils and shit because they're dying of AIDS. They're AIDS riddled.
Exactly. Which is like, one, not how AIDS works. But two, you're right in that it is visually something.
It's visually a way to show pestilence.
Precisely. It brings to mind thoughts of leprosy, which is very much.
Or yeah, it's supposed to be
1984.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like the plague. The gays have the
Precisely.
plague. What I'm saying is the boils are a caricature that's been used for gay men a lot. Where you see, if you see like a political cartoon depicting a gay guy in a negative thing, he usually looks sick, emaciated, and has like bumps and boils. Oh, weird.
And this is made in 1984, just a few years after Reagan invented AIDS.
Yeah.